soon as PPK says, I want this changed, you have to go and change it in every single document. And the changes are usually not trivial. This is the workflow that we used to do, but when we only had one page. Photoshop documents are pretty. So we show them to the clients, and they're ooh and ah, and we're setting them up for disappointment, basically, because it will never look as good as it does in Photoshop, right? I think we've all known that. So in years past, designs I've done in Photoshop, I kept them so that when people ask to see some of the work I've done, I'm not going to show them the actual website because that looks like shit. So I'm going to show them the Photoshop document that I made and then tell them how the developer screwed it up, right? There's an answer to this problem, and the answer is very simple, but it's also a hard pill to swallow, especially for designers, because designers are now going to have to start immersing themselves in some of the technology that you and I, as a hybrid developer, are working with every day. And there's an aversion to that. So designing from the bottom up, which means designing from the content out. And this is a totally new way of looking at things. Lots of times we'll design from the design in. 37 Signals has written a lot about designing the interface first and then figuring the rest out behind that. So this is a different approach, content out. And I'm not only talking about documents. James, in his excellent presentation yesterday, talks a lot about documents versus apps. An app without content is nothing. So apps have content as well. You do things with the content, but apps have content. Everything has content. And if it doesn't exist. And there's a lot of talk about content is king, design is secondary to content, which is untrue. Content and form are two things that work together. And Paul Rand, who's the designer of the IBM identity and lots of other cool stuff, always said that design is the method of putting form and content together. And I think that's true. So these are two things you have to think of together, but it starts with the content. So we have to look at that. And nowadays, a lot of design decision-making is based on technology, because technology is really cool. So I have clients who've decided what kind of CMS they want, and then they want to paste a design on top of that. And so I'm the annoying designer guy who asks annoying questions like, well, why did you choose the CMS? Does it have to be a CMS? So